Hello everyone, so this week I'm gonna come back with only one video and the reason is very simple. I failed. I'm still gonna show you the whole film, don't worry, it just will be in the same video. I thought combining both process and film would be easier here as it's not independent, it's not working, so I thought maybe explaining how I arrived there, the process, the fails, and the reflect whole in the same video would be better. So I'll let you watch the film. Enjoy. The process. For the aspect of the week, I wanted to deal with the lack of physical interaction in isolation and create a scenario that would explore how this would evolve in a dystopian way. So not so speculative anymore, the goal was really to disturb the reality by immersing the audience in a very specific moment. I got greatly inspired by a book called The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat by Oliver Sacks, who is a well-known author and neurologist who depicts in his book the strange cases he had to deal with during his career. The chapter Hands caught my attention. A congenital blind 60-year-old lady with cerebral palsy who calls her hands lumps of dough as she can't use them. The neurologist found out that her hands became so because she has always been taken care of her entire life, avoiding any contact with anything. Her hands were simply asleep. By teasing out her natural instinct of reaching out food, they started this rehabilitation of her hands, and where she discovered a whole new world of sensation and textures that changed her life so much that she afterward became a sculptor with a profound sensibility. So from this, I really wanted to specifically focus on the hand and went through a list of artifacts that would have for purpose to rehabilitate or enhance the sensations we have with our common objects in a desperate way of feeling. So I thought of a pair of gloves that would enhance everything we touch with the help of vibrations. I also thought of a sort of puppet system that would imitate the hand touch of someone else. Another pair of gloves with more medical approach, still in the idea of the rehabilitation. And then I thought of a set of tools that would mimic the physical touch. I decided to go in that direction because first, for practical reasons, but also because it allowed me to detach my project from the technological aspect. I also experimented with dough as it has this skin-like feeling. I explored what kind of feeling would we seek for, and according to my research, people who entered isolation, such as prisoners, were looking for any kind of stimulations, even if that includes pain. My problem with these tools is that they were looking very analog simply because they were not based on anything. There were not enough research on any of them, and people would have wondered, because I wondered myself, would that have been enough for such a scenario? They were looking more cute than dystopian actually. But this imprinted hand and the dough was looking interesting to me, and I thought, what if the character in the scenario desperately tries to recreate, to remember the physical interaction through materials, like a sculpture, as a physical memory of what it feels like to hold a hand with someone, for example. So in that sense, playing around with the dream, the poesy, the details, and embracing the physical interaction we have with daily objects to evoke the social one. So the video in that sense had more of a purpose to create an environment rather than finding a solution. And the climax will be that she's not a sculptor but desperately trying to counteract the lack of physical interaction with the material. And by doing so, I was hoping to raise some questions such as, to what extent can humans remain sane without physical interaction? Could we still thrive and not survive in such an environment? Would imaginary or dreaming be the only option to do so? Description of the film. For the scenario, I need to be very specific in the moment I choose to illustrate, and I had as a reference Black Mirror, as it is really good to depict near reality or reality that is already here, but it's played in a very twisted way that it creates this disturbing atmosphere which create debates at the end. So I also had The Danish Girl as a reference in terms of film, as it has like scenes such as the one where he has to dress up as a woman to pose for a painting, and he has this sublime realization of the feeling of the clothes on his skin, and it's very well done. It's very beautiful. So I thought that this could be interesting, or like a very nice way to show an emotion through the material. I also featured in my shot some extract of the film Persona from Ingmar Bergman. It's an old film from 1960, I think, but I think was great as the role of the teacher of what touch feels like and the facial expression from the touch of the other person. It's a very twisted film, so I thought that was good. So the first shot is meant to contextualize. She is inside watching her film on her laptop. Then she's captivated by a scene and compares the touch that she sees on the screen to hers on her face. And then she starts to like dream and has this fascination with her hands, and she's moving them as like a dance. So there's a sort of like sensualization of the hands. She tries to memorize it, to memorize the movement that she saw in the film and make up her mind and decide without hesitation to go in the kitchen. So basically this first part is already like a build-up, a setup and a build-up to what's coming. And then she pick up that box, and then where it is supposed to be the climax or like the whole point of the movie, I fail. I felt because when she opens the box, you're expecting something unexpected, actually, unexpected and intriguing and very dystopian, and what she pulls out of the box is a piece of dough. It's Play-Doh. She's gonna play with dough. It looks ridiculously disproportionate to the dramatic atmosphere I set up. And we can't buy that. The music, the colors, everything, the emotion, even, oh my god. And I'm not talking about my acting skills. And the final shot, we don't quite understand what it is all about. I initially wanted the audience to realize at the very end that she is trying to imprint the movement and the shape of the hands in the dough to create a sculpture. And when she pulls out all the others, we would realize that it's not quite poetic, but it's more disturbing because she has a very unhealthy obsession with that, and that is not the first time she has been doing this. But it obviously doesn't come across like that. Reflect. I think I felt, first of all, because I constrained myself too much by wanting to push away the technologic aspect, when I think in this case is intrinsically related to the topic. Not talking about it is lying to myself. It is here, it is real, and it is a problem for so many people already in the normal times, this whole digital aspect of the physical interaction. And I think highlighting it in the context of COVID-19 would have been even more relevant. Secondly, I really wanted to experiment with storytelling this week, and so detaching myself from the facts and attaching myself consequently to my designer role. And I'm not a filmmaker, I am a designer, I think. Telling stories through moving images is particularly difficult, especially in this context and with such a difficult topic. I'm not trying to give myself some excuses. No. But I think it is particularly relevant for me to get feedbacks this week. I again think I overcomplicated the thing, and there are thousands of ways of going somewhere, and I just picked the wrong one, which is fine. I felt I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. So hopefully I'll see you next week or in 2 weeks with a better concept and a better video. On a different aspect this time. I'm not gonna go back at this. I'm just gonna move on. And yeah, thank you.